Hello everybody, welcome back to the video, and yeah, I know it's a little late, but I've been meaning to do this video for a while. I'm going to be ranking the 9 ghost faces from the Scream movies. Not going to factor in anything else, just the movies, the characters who actually were Ghostface in the final script, so I'm not going to be including the assumed accomplice of Roman in the original Scream 3 script. So without further ado, let's get into this. So controversially, my least favorite Ghostface is Mrs. Loomis from Scream 2. So a lot of people are going to put Charlie last. For me, Mrs. Loomis is the weakest one. I mean, her being in there is just too much of a, oh yeah, look, yeah, of course, let's have her in there. And her motivation is revenge, which basically makes Scream 2 a revenge plot. Which I like a good revenge plot in a movie and TV show, but I don't know, you just don't really get to see a lot of the character as Mrs. Loomis until she's been revealed to be Ghostface, because when you first see her and she's revealed to be Ghostface, you think she's actually Debbie Salt. So you don't get a lot of time with the actual character, and so it feels kind of like a cheap twist. Does that make sense? Alright, well, yeah. Apart from that, she only gets one kill, which is Randy, so she does have the fact that she is one of 2 ghost faces that actually takes out a main character. But that's it. That's really all she has going for her, is the fact that she got Randy. Okay, and number 8 is Charlie Walker. Definitely the most gory Ghostface killer, I'd say. Again, very different motivation. Also not as, I would say he's not as evil as some of the other ones. He's definitely on the evil side, but definitely not evil. And actually kind of seems regretful of it when he has to kill, or thinks he's killing Kirby. His motivation is simply he wants a girlfriend, which is, I will give that it's a different motivation to the rest of the series, because most of them have to do with Sydney or something else, but most of them have to do with Sydney. So a different type of motivation is, interesting, but it's just not that great. Also, yeah, not a great character as well. I don't think he would really be remembered if he wasn't Ghostface. Okay, so number 7 is Richie from Scream 2022, or just Scream. Now, without going into my thoughts on the actual movie, I thought the movie itself was great, but Richie was just actually, it was a little shocking, because I've been able to guess kind of the ghost faces. I was wrong some of the time through each of the movies, but I didn't actually know who it was for 2022. Apparently a lot of people knew immediately. But it is nice having the love interest actually be the killer, because that hadn't happened since Scream 1. So that's an interesting thing. And definitely one of the best for deceiving the characters in the audience that he isn't Ghostface. Maybe not the best. I'll get to the best when I talk about one later on. But he is a really interesting Ghostface, and kind of goes off the deep end. He's kind of like Billy, where his most memorable part is after he's revealed himself to be Ghostface. So most people would rank him above his accomplice, but when I get to his accomplice, then I'll explain why his accomplice ranks higher than Richie. Speaking of his accomplice, number 6 is Amber. So here's the thing, right? Amber is the ghost face, apart from Mrs. Loomis. She's the only other ghost face that can say that she took out a main character. Which, on one hand, really makes it kind of this great moment when she gets killed, because, or at least, really, because she actually killed my favorite character, so, but the impact she has on the franchise is that she killed a main character, which is something that had not happened since Randy died back in Scream 2. She's not a great character apart from that. She is entertaining to watch, especially after her reveal. And I actually love her reveal, where it's not, oh yeah, oh wait, what, she's the killer? No, I'm going to get to that one in a little bit. But she gets the most startling, where she, this one girl, I forgot her name, Liv, that's her name, keeps saying she's not the killer. And Amber just pulls out a gun and shoots her in the head. It's like, yeah, I know. Which is definitely the most like, oh, okay then. That's how you're revealing yourself to be Ghostface. Definitely interesting, and she definitely has a good crazy factor when she reveals herself to be Ghostface. But the kind of anger you feel towards her after she kills Dewey, because basically once you find out who the Ghostfaces are, it's really easy to assume she gets Dewey. Yeah, just really, an 18-year-old gets Dewey. Oh well. Yep. But she doesn't crack the top 5 because, honestly, I just think that the top 5 are just more interesting to watch. Alright, so controversially, number 5 is Roman Bridger from Scream 3. Now, Roman has a lot of things going for him. One, he is the most lethal Ghostface with every kill in the movie. That's because he worked alone. Number 2, he's actually kind of underrated as a killer, as Ghostface, because Scream 3 itself is actually really underrated. Yeah, I am going to rank the movies, so you'll find out my thoughts on 3 when I do that. Apart from that, I actually kind of like the whole evil mastermind idea behind this character, mainly because I really like it in movies when the main protagonist fights the evil mastermind. It's kind of like Bond versus Blofeld in literally any movie in which Bond fights Blofeld, or really Iron Man and Thanos in Infinity War and Endgame. I like it when the main character fights the evil antagonist. The sibling twist, I don't mind. It's an interesting direction. Really, my only issues, my big issue, right, is the reason he doesn't get into the top 4 is, 1, I like the performances of the top 4 more, and 2, he doesn't actually share any screen time with Sydney prior to his reveal. So that really, you don't get like that, oh wait, okay, you're the killer. You just get kind of confused look like, Sydney, like, have I met you before? Yeah, so yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Roman. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, no hate comments, please, but number 4 is Billy Loomis. The most popular Ghostface of them all is Billy, without a doubt. But there are a couple things that keep him out of the top 3. Number 1 is he's just too obvious as Ghostface. The other ones have a cool reveal to them, a cool surprise. You're like, oh wait, it's them. For the top 3. But also, I really don't think Skeet Ulrich's performance, it's really good. It's just a little too creepy. And then when you get to that final, when you get to the climax and he reveals himself, that's when Billy becomes such a memorable character. That's when he's really doing, his best performance of the movie right there. But he is the one that's had the biggest impact, including actually being the father of the main character from the newest one. So overall, Billy is definitely iconic, but I don't feel like that gives him enough reason to be number 1. I mean, you can't put someone at the top spot just because they're the most famous. Unless you're ranking them in terms of how iconic they are, in which case, yeah, that makes sense. But Personal opinion, I like 3 more. So, another controversial thing is my number 3 pick is Stu Macher. So, right. Okay, so I'm going to say this. I completely believe that Stu is alive. He's definitely crazy in this movie. He is very enjoyable to watch before he's revealed to be Ghostface, and then he's even more enjoyable to watch after he's revealed to be Ghostface. His best part is when he's on the phone with Sydney, the climax, and he says, "My mom and dad are gonna kill me." That part's just really funny. Apart from that, of course, there is just Matthew Lillard's performance as a whole, with him saying stuff like, "I'll be right back," and just all these kind of funny, silly moments that make you think he's just probably a comic relief character, and then no, he's actually like the secondary Ghostface, and he's just a really fun Ghostface to watch, maybe the most enjoyable performance-wise, but he doesn't have a motive. And okay, you could say peer pressure, which I actually think it is probably peer pressure and not just, him saying, "Oh yeah, I just want to do this." I feel like he probably said that to try to, make it sound like he's a little bit cooler, but I think probably peer pressure is what it is. But I'll explain. I knew my number 1 immediately, but really kind of alternated between 2 and 3. I did not know where to put Stu Macher. So, yeah, let's get to number 2. Okay, so my runner-up is Mickey Altieri from Scream 2. Now, alright, here's the thing with Mickey. He's playing what never worked with the whole frame the movies thing. He gets points, however, for having a unique motive that is not tied to Sydney. Because, right, most of the motives are tied to Sydney, and this is a very unique motive, where they're all either trying to make a movie, or like kill Sydney, one case become Sydney. With Mickey, Sydney's just a part of the plan, she's just a casualty, and not the end target, which is actually a really interesting thing. And, it allows a different type of motivation, which is very interesting. Also, the performance by Timothy Olyphant is just also really interesting and really fun to watch. Only reason he isn't number 1 is because of the immediate fact that he gets killed by Mrs. Loomis. But even then, he has one of the best comes back for one last scare moments of the entire series. Maybe my favorite one, where he just sort of rises up and is like, "Ah!" Yeah. So definitely one of I think the most underrated Ghostface, but not my number 1. Okay, so yeah, number 1 is Jill from Scream 4. Now let me explain, because this might be a weird pick to some people. Now I do look up ranking. I have looked up the rankings that some other people have done, because I get curious, and most of the time it's Billy. Some people have had Stu, Mickey. A couple of people have also had Jill at number 1. But why does she top my list? Well, reason number 1, best reveal, in my opinion, the most shocking reveal. Because, I was trying to think, okay, after they had revealed Charlie, I was thinking, okay, who is it? And then you find out it's Jill, and my jaw was like, just hung open, like, wait, really? And then you see how evil she actually is, and you're thinking, what? You're just shocked. And then you find out that her motive is actually 2 parts, right? She wants to cause this. She wants to get fame and everything that Sydney has. But she also it's also because of how famous her family is, with Her aunt's murder being the instigator of the whole series, and her cousin being the main target of all these ghost faces. And that's also a pretty interesting aspect of the character. And they really do their best to paint her as the new protagonist going forward. But then you actually find out, no, she's the villain. And you're kind of thinking, oh, okay. And then you see how truly evil she is after her reveal. Where I explained her whole evil monologue, but after she thinks that she killed everyone, she thinks she's won. And so then she goes and beats herself up. And I'll be honest, that might be the single most shocking, like, wait, what sequence of the entire series? Because she just rams herself into pictures, stabs herself. She's crazy. She's crazy. But then you get the hospital sequence, and everything starts falling apart. Basically, right? She might have gotten away. She also is horrible with forensics because the rag she used has her fingerprints on it. And so will the duct tape that she also used to get the what is it? Shoot, the perceived killer that she had planned. So yeah, with all that said, she would have been caught eventually, and then she tries to kill Sydney at the hospital, which fails. And so basically, it's kind of left as who knows if she might have actually been Ghostface, because the final sequence are the news reporters reporting that she had survived the series of attacks, not knowing that she actually was the one causing them. This doesn't get brought up in Scream 5 at all, but with Kirby returning in Scream 6, I really hope that this is addressed. Also, quick thing I noticed, neither Jill nor Charlie got the headshot. You always have to shoot the killer in the head. Could this mean, now I doubt they'll have Charlie return, but could this mean the Jill return? Maybe adapt the Cult of Ghostface idea that they had for Scream 3 originally, but with Jill as the ringleader? I don't know. But yeah, there you have it. My full ranking of every Ghostface, controversial opinions, and all. That's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. And never, ever say, I'll be right back.